this week we celebrate or we observe our anniversary of independence. And I just want to wish everyone in this honorable house and all St. Lucians a happy independence anniversary. Madam President, I rise in this house as one of the voices of the opposition. And as I have said time and again, that we are duty-bound to scrutinize the decisions and the policies put forward by this government. Madam President, today we are here to lend support to a resolution to authorize the Minister for Finance to borrow a total of $11,500,000 US from the International Development Association in order to finance the implementation of the OECS Skills and Innovation Project. While I appreciate the intentions of this resolution and to register my support, Madam President, I want to raise some concerns and call upon this government to address them in order to facilitate the successful implementation of this OECS Skills and Innovation Project. Madam President, we are very much aware that education is the cornerstone of societal progress. It is the institution that shapes the minds of future generations and lays the foundation for a prosperous future. We all know that. However, achieving excellence in education, Madam President, requires a concerted effort. A concerted effort from multiple stakeholders, including agencies like the OECS, UNESCO, non-profit organizations, Madam President, community-based groups, schools, families, churches, sports clubs, even uniform groups. The aim is to help our young people to develop to their fullest potential and to be able to acquire skills, important life skills that they can use in order to be able to navigate the complexities of an evolving society. Madam President, this Skills and Innovation Project is a commendable initiative, and it is aimed at, as the leader of government business mentioned, three main components, Madam President. But I only want to focus on just one of those components, which is post-secondary students. And these students are going to be equipped with a range of transversal skills. And what do we mean by that? Skills that they really need in order to succeed in today's society. So the leader of government business didn't really mention, although he highlighted maybe just two of those: creative thinking, problem solving, but I think that was done en passant. So I want, Madam President, if you permit me, to go down and to examine some of those skills that our post-secondary school students will be equipped with in order to be able to gain, in order to be able to benefit significantly from this project. But first I want to define what we mean by transversal skills. And so UNESCO 2014 defines transversal skills as skills that are typically considered as not specifically related to a particular job, task, academic discipline, or area of knowledge. And that can be used in a wide range of situations and work settings. In other words, Madam President, these skills, often referred to as soft skills or transferable skills, they cut across different tasks. They cut across different jobs and, of course, roles, even career paths. We know that these skills can be transferred. But what are those skills we're talking about? The leader of government business mentioned critical thinking. It is true. Many of our students at secondary school, even at the post-secondary school, at the South Louis Community College, many of them lack some of those skills that they need in order to be able to function effectively in the workplace. And even to make the necessary adaptations required to ensure that they benefit from a meaningful learning experience that is in the classroom. So communication. This project aims to help the students develop excellent communication skills. Many times they have difficulty articulating their ideas, getting their points across. The ability to work collaboratively with teams, respecting the views of others. Many of the students do not even know how to agree to disagree without a fight, without getting into conflict. So conflict management, conflict resolution skills will be taught to those students so that they know exactly how to behave, not just in the school, but in their future workplaces. We cannot overemphasize the need to equip our students with the digital skills that they need in order to be able to function in this digital landscape. Problem-solving skills, emotional intelligence, Madam President. And you know what? It's not just the students who need emotional intelligence, you know. Many of our leaders lack emotional intelligence. Madam President, and when I say leaders, I'm not just referring to those here. So some of you were saying, oh, because you're thinking of just political leaders. A lot of our leaders do not know how to manage their emotions. They don't know how to empathize and respect the perspectives of others. So we expect our students to gain those skills. Skills that we believe will help them to make positive changes in their lives and in their communities. So, Madam President, these skills are quintessential to these students. These skills will help them adapt to changes in their schools, their communities, organizations that they are part of, and to help them live more meaningful, productive lives. So it is against this background, Madam President, that I lend my support and give a thumbs up to this resolution. However, while we recognize the importance of investing in education and innovation, Madam President, we cannot ignore the glaring failures of this government to address critical issues within our health and education sector. Issues, Madam President, that I strongly believe that if not dealt with urgently, will pose a major threat to the implementation of the OECS Skills Innovation Project. And of course, it will negatively affect the desired quality outcomes of this project. Madam President, it is undeniable that the safety and security of our schools should be paramount. And we have heard this time and again from the Minister for Education. Yet, we find ourselves in a situation where some schools, and Madam President, may I add that while the focus might be on post-secondary education, we must take cognizance of the fact that the students at the upper secondary school might very well be the participants in this project, depending on when this project is rolled off, depending on when the project is implemented. So we cannot take any myopic view and think that we only focus on post-secondary in Viewfort and the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. The students are coming in from the secondary schools, and we need to be able to nip it in the bud. We need to be able to do this. Teachers and students alike are living in fear. And even parents, many of them are worried. They are worried about the safety of their children every time, the children go off to school. Tell me, Madam President, tell me, how can we expect our students to thrive in an environment where the basic safety is not guaranteed? And did we hear anything from the minister or even the leader of government business regarding the environment that must exist to facilitate the effective implementation of this project within schools? Or the very same post-secondary schools? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This government's reactive approach, Madam President, in addressing school security and youth violence undermines any efforts to implement ambitious programs such as the OECS Skills and Innovation Project. So while these skills, or the acquisition of those skills, are valuable, it would be so naive of any agency, and all those in education would know that very well, so naive of any agency or government to assume that such a program can succeed in an environment where schools are not secure and teachers do not feel safe. A safe and conducive learning environment is an imperative for the success of such a program and any other program. Madam President, the money can be secured. It can be procured. But if the very same students, the direct beneficiaries of this project, are not receptive, they're not in a frame of mind because they constantly have to look over their shoulders. And to top it all, Madam President, they are required to work and learn in an environment where fear pervades the school walls. As promising and commendable as the project may seem, it will be counterproductive. And don't try to tell me that the situation that I have described is far-fetched or is far from reality. We all know it. And if the members opposite hold this view, then they are really oblivious of what's taking place in our secondary schools, as well as the various communities in which these students live, these children live, our young people live, where youth violence is concerned. Madam President, I think it is time for us to wake up wake up and focus on those things that will help in a more holistic way help our students and the young people of this country succeed. Moving on, Madam President. The challenges posed by inadequate school security can hinder both students and teachers to focus on learning and innovation. How can we expect the teachers, those who are going to impart the knowledge, how do we expect them to effectively do that? Equip the students with those soft skills and foster creativity, innovative thinking, when they are constantly preoccupied with concerns about their own safety? How can we expect the teachers, perhaps not so much at the post-secondary school level, but at the secondary school, some of those very same teachers are fearful themselves, some of whom have been assaulted by students, and in a few cases, the parents of the very same children they teach. So how do we expect them to intervene when sometimes students bring in weapons? How do we expect them to, Madam President? Please tell me. And I hope that the leader of government business would shed some light on this. How? Madam President, another critical area that must be addressed to ensure the effective implementation of the Skills and Innovation Project is the health sector. And you might be wondering how. What's the relationship? First of all, Madam President, in order for this project to take effect, both teachers and students need to participate in the learning experience. If they are dealing with health issues due to inadequate health facilities, they may have difficulty attending classes regularly, or they may have difficulty participating in the project activities. Illness can lead to absenteeism, Madam President, and which can in turn compromise the quality of instruction delivered to students. And we're talking about the ability to acquire the soft skills being taught. That is going to be questioned as well. And just to illustrate, Madam President, only last semester, one of my students missed a few classes at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. So, yes, just wanted to correct you, leader of government business. I used to, but I'm still there. One of my students missed a few classes. Why? Because she had to accompany her mom to Martinique to receive medical care, medical treatment. Do you think that there should have been, or there would have been any need for that student to miss classes if only the parents could have accessed those very same healthcare services in this country? There would be no need. Absolutely no need. Just imagine this very same student who was a participant of this program having missed some classes, some sessions, some workshops, whatever the activities may be. There would be lots of gaps. And so these students would have difficulty meeting the requirements, or these students would also have difficulty developing those very same soft skills that the program seeks to deliver. So, Madam President, We have to look at the whole picture, you know, the entire picture. Secondly, Madam President, persistent health issues can lead to increased dropout among our students. We have not thought about that, especially if they feel unable to keep up with their studies due to poor health facilities. This can ultimately undermine the effectiveness of the Skills and Innovation Project in achieving its goals. And finally, Madam President, if students are unable to fully engage in the project due to health-related challenges, they may not develop the necessary skills and competencies needed to succeed in today's dynamic environment. Of course, we know that this would have long-term consequences for their future prospects and opportunities. So, when I listened to the Prime Minister sometime, was it last week or week before, he announced his intention to deliver to the Marshall Combined School a state-of-the-art kitchen. Now, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. Not that the school does not need a well-equipped kitchen. Every school, every single school on the island deserves a kitchen that is well-equipped as part of the school feeding program. But he doesn't see the need to deliver to the teachers, the students of the post-secondary school in Vieux-Fort, and the people of St. Lucia by extension, a state-of-the-art hospital. A facility that would very well provide the quality healthcare services to adequately meet the health needs of potentially sick students and teachers, to reduce the absenteeism rate, and to ensure the success and effectiveness of the OECS Skills and Innovation Project. I'm saying this again, so perhaps you didn't see the big picture or the bigger picture. If this government had connected the dots, they would have seen that having a top quality, world class, now they recognize, they may call it the box, but now they recognize.
Senator, I must bring you back on track. You have gone, I've given you leeway the first time and you're repeating, so I urge you please to stick to the motion that we are debating. Thank you.
I'm so guided, Madam President. So I will continue. So, Madam President, as I conclude, let me reiterate that we recognize the importance of investing in skills and innovation. However, we cannot turn a blind eye to the government's tardiness in addressing some pressing issues we face in this country. We urge this government to take decisive action to ensure the safety and well-being of our students and educators. Only then can we ensure that an initiative such as the OECS Skills and Innovation Project and other similar interventions aimed at enhancing the educational experience of our students and to prepare them more adequately for the workplace have a fighting chance at success. I thank you, Madam President.